Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. We are actually in the middle of this vlog where I'm setting up all my books in my bedroom. And at least my TBR books, some of the books that I've read, I'm thinking will be here, but I still need to get milk crates and put the books that I've read this year in milk crates right here, and I think that will be good, or maybe over there. I haven't decided yet. But I thought we would take a break from the reorganization because this shelf is done, those are done, and the shelf over there is done, so I wanted to show you real quick. And I figured that we would go over every book. So this is going to serve two purposes. We are going to pick a most anticipated TBR, which is going to go over on my new bookshelf. It's like a little tree bookshelf. We'll get to see it towards the end of this video. But it's also going to serve as a reminder of the physical TBR that I own. I'm not going to put a counter on the bottom or anything, but at the end I will count all the books and we can see. I know that going into 2023 I was not going to go book shopping unless I earned it, but that didn't last very long. Maybe like 2 months, maybe. And I wanted to own less than 100 books on my physical TBR. Like, I eventually want to own 1,000 books because that's the legal term for a library. But my craziness was like, oh, I want a double-digit TBR. Alita from the past, if you are listening right now, that was crazy. That was cray-cray. And we like having lots of books, and we like going book shopping. Book collecting and book reading are separate hobbies, and you have both of those, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think we're just going to go through. This is going to count as my every book on my physical TBR, but it's also going to help me pick my most anticipated books that will be over there. So when we pick TBRs and when I'm just in the mood to pick a book, that's going to be my primary focus for the rest of the year. And maybe next year too. This top shelf is my romance. So we have Talk Bookish to Me, which is like a bookish romance. And I mean, just look at that cover. See that cover? Look at that. The Rehearsals by Annette Christie. This has a time loop romance. Not the Girl You Marry. A Brush with Love and the Plus One by Maisie Eddings. Home Again by Kristen Hanna. Then If You Ask Me by Libby Hofstra. By Any Other Name. Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. And Beautiful Disaster. You know what? I'm going to get rid of Beautiful Disaster. I've tried to read it a couple times and I'm not liking it. So there's that. Then Wait For It by Jen McKinley. The Wedding Ringer by Carrie Ray. So it's like a fake bridesmaid gets hired at this wedding and she has to pretend to be best friends with the bride. Nora Roberts, By a Thread and Forever Never, both by Lucy Score. Then there's The Rewind and Romantic Comedy. Then there's Simmer Down and Faker by Sarah Smith. These four are here because I want to read them again, but technically I have read them before, so I don't know if they should count for my TV. I guess they should because I want to reread them, but I have read them before. My 5 romances are, we have The Rehearsals by Annette Christie, The Wedding Ringer by Carrie Ray, Simmer Down by Sarah Smith, Romantic Comedy by Curtis Seinfeld, and The Rewind by Alison Wynne Scotch. Alright, then this is my second shelf. This is thrillers. I actually have 3 shelves of thrillers, so this is going to be the biggest part of the video probably. There's Are You Sleeping by Kathleen Barber. The Writing Retreat and the Herd by the Bart Sisters. There's Julia and Andrea. Then there's Lost You by Halen Beck. You know, this was on my 23 in 23. So like the 23 books I must read in 2023. And I was so excited for it because Halen Beck wrote one of my favorite thrillers of all time. I didn't want to tell you this, but I've DNF'd this book 3 times. Which just means that if I'm not going to get into it, then I have no interest in reading it. So I'm going to unhaul it. Okay. Then we have How I Lost You and Cemetery Girl by David Bell. The Wild Inside by James Bradbury. This one is like a type of thriller that talks about grief and struggling with that. So I think this one's going to be on my most anticipated for this shelf. Then we have Find Me and the X by Alfred Burke. Girl 11 by Amy Suter Clark. I really wanted to read this year because there's some kind of like podcast element in it. Then there's The Family Plot. This one's going to be on my most anticipated as well. The Rooming by Anna Collmore. That one is a nanny type of thriller. My Husband's Wife and Blood Sisters by Jane Corey. Those sound really good. Then there's I Am Watching You by Teresa Driscoll. This is a missing girl, a tormented witness, a web of lies, and someone is watching you now. Then there's Darling by Rachel Edwards. Little Deaths by Emma Flint. Like a Sister by Kelly Garrett. Left Neglected by Lisa Genova, and Good Is Gone by Amy Gentry. I know our goal was 5 from each shelf, but this one has 9. And that's because I'm trying to get the 5-star predictions and everything on that shelf over there. So we have Jane Corey, both of her books, which is My Husband's Wife and Blood Sisters. I Am Watching You by Teresa Driscoll. Darling by Rachel Edwards. Little Deaths by Emma Flint. The Wild Inside by James Bradbury. Girl 11 by Amy Suter Clark. The Family Plot by Megan Collins. And The Ronin by Anna Collins. Okay, I think I'm going to do the last 3 shelves right here all together. These 2 are thrillers. And this is, well, okay, this is thriller all the way to here. And then this is mystery all the way to the bottom shelf, which is horror novels. So our goal is 5 per shelf. If I get a little more or a little less on each one, I guess that's perfectly acceptable because I got 9 off that one. I think we'll be okay. I think I'll get this. So these are not in the right spot, so I'll have to find the spot for them. Let's see. Dark Corners by Megan Golding. Tell Me No Lies by Lisa Hall. The Appeal by Janice Hallett. The Last Wife by Karen Hamilton. Oh, right there. The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth. Runtime and 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard. Billy Summers. Desperation. And Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King. After I'm Gone by Laura Lippman. People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd. The Quarry Girls by Jess Lowry. Deacon King Kong by James McBride. Breathless by Amy McClouch. Spare Room by Deidre Say Mitchell. And Just Married by Kristen Moglen. Two Truths and a Lie by Nate Mitchell Moore. Every Marriage Has Them, Lies, Lies, Lies by Adele Parks. The Ninth Month by James Patterson. And Gone Tonight by Sarah Pekkanen. One is the last of the thrillers and the start of my mysteries. So we have The Green Beach File by K.A. Perry. The Last Guest by J.P. Pomeroy. What She Gave Away by Catherine Riggs. Campfire by Sean Serlis. Gigger by Gustav Zuckerman. Not So Perfect Strangers by S.L. Stratton. Almost Missed You by Jessica Strouser. The Other People by C.J. Tudor. Last Girl Ghosted and Beautiful Lies by Lisa Ugner. The Day He Left by Frederick Liesel. Watch the Girls by Jennifer Wolfe. The Darkest Web by Kirsten Wright. Killer Content by Olivia Blake. The Little Lady Agency by Hester Brown. The Stolen Marriage and Big Lies in a Small Town by Diane Chamberlain. The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. Cul-de-sac by Joy Fielding. Night Road by Kristen Hanna. When We Were Bright and Beautiful by Jillian Medoff. And then our last, you can't see it, but I have one more shelf down here that has the rest of my mysteries and my horror novels. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. Searching for Sylvie Lee by Jean Walk. Are You Afraid of the Dark by Seth C. Adams. Hecla's Children by James Brogden. The Vanishing Hill Haunting by Nate Finch. The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. The Pledge by Rob Keane. Then The Body by Stephen King, and this one's going to count for 3 books because it's a 3-book bind-up of The Shining, Carrie, and Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Then Blood Hollow by William Kent Kruger. Floor 4 by A. Lopez Jr. Signed Here by Claudia Lux. Unbury Carol by Josh Mallerman. Pariahs by Derek Nikitas. And Sundial by Katrina Ward. So here are the ones from the last few shelves off this bookshelf. There's Unbury Carol by Josh Mallerman. There's Sign Here by Claudia Lux. Killer Content by Olivia Blake. Watch the Girls by Jennifer Wolfe. Not So Perfect Strangers by S.L. Stratton. Gone Tonight by Sarah Pekkanen. The Ninth Month by James Patterson. Lies, Lies, Lies by Adele Parks. Just Married by Kirsten Moglin. Spare Room by Deidre St. Mitchell. Tell Me No Lies by Lisa Hall. And Dark Corners by Megan Golding. Okay, now we have my 2 TBR cards and my 1 shelf over there. So remember, this at the end I'm going to count how many books I have. I'm a little scared. I think it's going to be more than I had in December. I'm also going to check to see how many I had in December and see if it's more or less. Just for fun. So this is like my writer's shelf. So it's all my writing books and some journals and some things for me to focus on so that I can get back into writing because I miss it a lot. So that shelf doesn't count. But this one right here has my literary fiction, sci-fi, political books, and westerns. I have 2 westerns, 2 political books, and 2 sci-fis. I'm not, those like, I won't read very often, but they're here. This is literary, which is either really, really hit with me or a real big miss. Then I have, on my other shelf, I have classics and historical fiction, contemporaries, more classics, and then fantasy on the bottom. And then I have nonfiction over there along that wall that you can't see. So I don't think I'm going to pick as many for my like most anticipated shelf, because these are the ones that I don't read as often, but we can still do this. So there is Rootless by Crystal Zara Apaya, The Vanishing Half by Brent Bennett, Oh My Darling by Amity Gage, We Love You, Charlie Friedman by Caitlin Greenridge, Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff, We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, The Essence of Nathan Biddle by J. William Lewis. Whew. Adelaide by Genevieve Willer. My Murder by Katie Williams. Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. And The Uncoupling by Meg Woltzer. So for that one, I did find 2 that I want to put over there, but I figured I'd just collect all of them and put them all together and then show you that shelf. So I have Fate and Furies and Rootless off that one. Then we have Gunslinger Girl by Lindsay Ellie, Outlawed by Anna North, Imposter Syndrome by Kathy Wong, Replayed by Ken Grimwood, and 11/22/63 by Stephen King. So I kind of partially want to put that on that shelf over there, but I don't think I'm going to read it before November, because I want to read it on this day, or at least part of it on this day. It's like 1,000 pages. So I don't think I'll finish it in one day. It'll take me a little bit. Okay, 850 pages. But the audiobook is 31 hours. So I think it'd be a really cool video idea to read at least part of it on 11/22/2023. So 60 years after this date. But I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. So for right now, I'm going to keep it here. But I am very interested. So we got one more to put on to my most anticipated. We have Outlawed by Anna North. Alright, and then I'm going to scoot over a little bit. And we're going to talk about the stuff on this shelf. So these are my anthologies. Most of them are scary story anthologies, but these 2 are teacher anthologies. See Me After Class or Apples and Chalk Dust. I really want to read these after I've had bad days at work. You know, because I'm only human, and yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. Alright, so here are my children's, like, classics. We have The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Black Beauty, Pollyanna, The Story of Dr. Dolittle, and Oliver Twist. I think I'm going to set up that shelf every season. So once every like 3 months, we'll go through all my books like this, and we'll determine which ones I'm really like in the mood to read right now. And those ones will go on that shelf over there. For right now, I'm not going to pick any children's classics to add to my pile. I think that I'm probably going to read Dracula, or at least that's the plan. So every season I'll pick one more classic to put over there, and that's going to be the one that I will hopefully get to for that season. I don't read a lot of classics, but I do want to try them every once in a while. So I figure one every 3 months, that's only 4 a year. That's, you know, easy peasy maybe. So we have Dracula by Bram Stoker. That one is going to go on that shelf. We have Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I feel like I've read this one. Not this copy, but I feel like I've read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I have a journal, which is going to go to my writing section. I just forgot to put it there. And then The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. This is a huge book. Like over 500? Is it? Yeah. 510 pages? 512 pages. I think it's a ghost story. I don't know a whole lot about it. Okay, then we have these historical fictions. There's The Book Thief, The Last Russian Doll, Lone Woman, Wayward, The Nightingale, Dalmatian Spring, and The Doll House. I'm not going to put any of those over there either, because I don't really want to read historical fiction right now. It's one of my least read genres anyway. There's 1,000 Miles to Graceland, A Man Called Ove, Small Steps by Louis Satcher. This is Armpit Story from Bowles. Then there's A Dog's Way Home, A Dog's Courage, Ellie Story, and Bailey Story by W. Bruce Cameron. It's not true. I did put A Man Called Ove on my most anticipated over there. Then I have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I've heard that the perfect time to read this is in the fall, and I know I just got done saying that I only want to read one classic every season, but I am going to put this on my most anticipated shelf, and maybe I will read it. Then I have Pinocchio and Heidi, and A Little Princess. Then my fantasies are School for Psychics by Casey Archer, The Lock by Steve Alton, like the Loch Ness Monster, City of Ghosts, the entire trilogy, One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serrell, Legend and Lattes, Jack Baby by William Ritter, and The Blinds by Adam Steinberg. I think I'm going to add The Blinds and Little Women. I have Unbelievable, The Anatomy of Motive, The Answer Is by Alex Trebek, Auras and Chakras, Group, How One Therapist and a Circle of Strangers Saved My Life by Christy Tate. This one's going to be added to my most anticipated, along with The Five by Hallie Robenhold. This is the 5 victims of Jack the Ripper, like their stories. And there's Stiff by Mary Roach. I'm going to add that one too. Human Cadavers. Then Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Wasted by Maria Hornbacher. I'm going to put that in my most anticipated. Then we have Blackout, Palmistry, Thick, and Other Essays, Molly's Game, and Slanted. Take this stack over to that shelf, and then I'm going to take you with me and we're going to look at my most anticipated shelf. Here are the numbers. At the beginning of the year, my craziness said that so last year, let's back up. Last year, I missed Veda because I was so busy and just didn't do it. So instead I did something called Veda that I don't think is a real thing, but I did a video every day in October. And in that video, I went through every single book on my bookshelf. At the time, I had 128 books. And when I was making my goals for 2024, 2023, it's only 2023. Sorry, just jumped forward a year. When I was making my goals for 2023, one of my goals was to have a double-digit TBR, but that is not realistic for me. I like having a lot of books that I haven't read. Someday I want to have 1,000 books. It'd be awesome if I've read all 1,000 of those books and that I love those books. But my first goal is just to get to 1,000 books. I have 190 books on my physical TBR today. I just counted them. There's 190. So I definitely got some more books this year. And, I'm not ashamed. It's okay. I'm going to just go. I'm not going to talk about any of these books, but I am going to show you an up-closeness of my most anticipated books. So it's like that, and then, yeah. It has 50 books on there. I think it's actually just 37 books, but that's cool. It's the perfect amount of books that I really want to read right this second if I were to pick a book. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you are new around here, where we're always trying to do bookish things. Pretty soon we're going to have a vlog where I read until I find a 5-star, because everyone's doing that, so I should just jump onto that bandwagon. So pretty soon, maybe during beta, hopefully during beta, we'll see for sure though. I unintentionally lied to you. I actually have 193 books on my physical TBR because I have the Lovecraft Compendium Classic Tales of Horror by Edgar Allan Poe, and Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which means it's 193 books.